Unfair fishing affects the world.
Let's talk about that in today's episode of The Globalization Nation. Fair fishing uses different fishing methods as unfair fishing. They don't use the big trawl nets like the monster boats do. Instead, they use pots, traps, gill nets, and fishing rods that are of no harm to the fish. So if an endangered or too young species were to be caught, it can just be put back into the sea with no harm done to that fish. There are pots in different sizes and shapes, which are all classifiable into one of two groups: portable and semi-permanent to permanent. The first are usually bottles with reverse bottlenecks. The second are usually bigger and more closely resemble a double heart shape. Pots are used by throwing them overboard and returning later to the position of the pot, usually marked with a buoy and hauling it back up. Gill nets are another method used by fishers. It is basically a big vertical net that can easily select the fish it has to catch by adjusting the size of the holes in the net, so certain fish won't be caught. And the last method I'll go over is the good old fishing rod, which is the easiest to use and the easiest to select your fish with, since there are different baits and different lines, and if a fish is caught that you don't want to catch or is not allowed to be caught, you can just cut the line. The fair fishing community is very big. About 12 million persons around the globe are fair fishers. The fair fisher, those people usually sell their fish in their own area, supplying good, healthy meals to the community. And fair fishing is also a big problem since the seas are heavily overfished. But research has shown that if the Spanish government would encourage fair fishing by subsidizing and all that, the seas would be back up to their old state in territorial years.
If some people think about Somalia, they think about pirates. Ever since the civil war brought down Somalia's last functional government in 1991, the country's 3,330 km of coastline has been pillaged by foreign fishing industries. According to a United Nations report, an estimated $300 million worth of seafood is stolen from the country's coastline each year. Because of this, people living near the coast of Somalia have been forced over the years to defend their own fishing expeditions out of ports such as El Kismayo and Haradere, which are all now considered to be pirate lands. People in Somalia are literally fighting for a living. The big foreign companies fishing near the coast of Somalia are not fair fishers. They just fish with big nets and they don't care what fish they catch. Beyond illegal fishing, foreign ships have also been accused by local fishermen of dumping toxic and nuclear waste near the coast of Somalia. But who cleans the coast of Somalia? Mermaids. Fishes are dying and foreign ships are screwing it up even more. Fishing is an important economic factor of Somalia, since Somalia earns 60% of their GDP with agriculture and employs 65% of the people.
So what is fair fishing? Fair fishing is fishing the amount you need and nothing more than that. No harm will be done to the perhaps endangered sea creatures. But Western European fishers, using monster boats, are emptying the sea of the port. So let's take a closer look at the differences between fair and unfair fishing. Unfair fishing is fishing with an unfair amount. Mostly European countries will fish away all of the fish that there is in the ocean of the port. The result of that is that there is too little fish for the port, leaving no food nor industry. Also, a well-known thing called overfishing will occur. With these nets, which are way too big, the biggest fishing net in the world is over 2 Eiffel Towers long. That's over 600 meters. Endangered species will also be caught and left to die. Sharks, dolphins, turtles, and other sea life not used for production is caught and thrown overboard, dead or about to be. In the unfair fishing industry, over 350 tons of fish is caught every single day. Obvious that overfishing will occur. One boat used in unfair fishing can catch more fish in one day than 50 boats of fair fishers will catch in 1 year. So obviously, a lot of more people are employed in the fair fishing because it required a lot more work. 500,000 people are employed in the fair fishing industry, in the unfair fishing industry, whereas 12 million people are employed in the fair fishing industry. Also, a lot of other methods are used in the fair fishing, which take up a lot more time than the unfair fishing methods. Small nets, fishing rods, and even pots and traps are used in the industry of fair fishing. Pots and traps target specific sea creatures with the bait they use. And if some unwanted sea creature is caught, it can be sent back in the sea without any harm done to it. The use of the fish is also very different. Unfair fish is usually sold in supermarkets in Western Europe, whereas the fair fish in the poor countries is mostly sold to the community without a lot of profit. To summarize, unfair fishing is done with way too large nets, causing overfishing and the dying of endangered species. 350 tons of fish is caught by unfair fishers every day. 50 boats of fair fishers in poor countries will have the same amount of fish caught in a year than one boat of unfair fishers will in one day. The method the unfair fishers use is the key to the amount of fish they fish. The nets they use are way too big and a lot of unwanted sea creatures are caught.
A lot of supermarkets and companies sell MSC approved seafood. For example, Iglo, Albert Heijn, Aldi, John West, Jumbo and Hema. We have compared a few kinds of fish sold in the Albert Heijn. As you can see in this table with the different prices of 5 kinds of fish, the fish that is sustainable for its species is much more expensive per 100 grams than the other products of the same company. This fish is caught the way the Marine Stewardship Council insists to. The supermarket gets about 40% of the total price. The rest goes to the people that process the fish, the fishers and the fishing company. The Marine Stewardship Council is a non-profit organization, so it does not get anything. The MSC only ensures the fish do not get extinct, not if the fishers get enough money. The fishing companies are mainly from Europe, so it's quite likely that the fishes get enough for their work.
The MSC, the Marine Stewardship Council, wants all oceans to be teeming with life for a very long time, and that seafood supplies will be safeguarded for this in future generations, so that no species will get in danger of extinction. When you choose to buy MSC labeled seafood, you'll help fisheries that use sustainable fishing practices. When the product has the blue MSC Eco label, it certainly comes from a sustainable fishery. The standards detailing the requirements for sustainable fishery and seafood products were discussed by fishing industries, scientists, conservation groups, experts and stakeholders. Their standards are: there should be enough fish left, ensuring the fish to be able to continue to exist forever. The fishing operations must be managed to maintain the structure, productivity, function and diversity of the ecosystem, and the fishery must comply with relevant laws and have a management system that is able to change when circumstances change. A lot of supermarkets and companies sell MSC approved seafood, for example Iglo, Albert Heijn, Aldi, John West, Jumbo and Hema.